And now we're at the end of the 18th day of the blitz and blockade of Gaza Strip and the Gaza City. And there's certainly 1,000 killed, because not only are more being killed, but because there's over 3,000 wounded. And it's impossible to provide the medication and the health care that's needed, let alone the water or the food. So there's a different sense of proportionality. But the blockade, of course, began in March 2006, shortly after both the United States government and the governments of the European Union and the government of my country, the United Kingdom, not only supported a blockade of the Gaza Strip, but without any doubt in my own mind, planned it together. I have absolutely no doubt of that. Nobody has to believe me. That's my own view. And my own view, for what it is worth, is that it would be a little bit imprecise, although you may think I'm being pernickety. It would be a little bit imprecise, in my view, to say the Israeli government decision, because I think it was an American government decision, and in my view, this decision to not move and take urgent action to get a ceasefire is also shared by the infamous quartet. Thank you. Is that 1 minute or 2? 1, thank you. Oh, 0. Sorry. What I'm emphasizing to you is that at a time when we are almost incapable of thinking at times, we have to think. And sometimes I find to know what to do, or what we're going to urge others to do, or take a stand on. And it doesn't mean that there's not something one can do every day. There's no need to wait. But I think it would be a mistake to see this as an Israeli question, because all the great powers have an urgent interest in maintaining this conflict. So having run out, I just want to say that I think the lessons have been of the last 8 years of the American administration, the last years of the Blair government and now the Gordon Brown government, the position taken by the European Union, so slow to move to prevent death at all times. We have seen the absolute contempt for international law, for constitutional law, for domestic law, not only on military fronts, not only in prisons, whether secret or notorious. Our governments have become almost, and I use the word deliberately but carefully, if incorrectly, have become almost psychopathic. And I address this with the specific that there is no law that they will respect. There is no respect for human life, both in their own countries or most certainly in the Gaza Strip. What are we to do? Well, we each can make up our minds. We can certainly think more and find out more, because we need to, because they're blocking the alleyways. And we must raise money. And there's many things that each of us can do. But we do have to think of it as a world question, because it is. It is a world question, as Sarajevo was a world question. Each place in the world is a world question, and what is happening now in the Gaza Strip strikes to the very heart of every human dimension, whether of values, of dignity, of constitution, of tradition or culture. I sent an email, a final word, I beg your pardon for taking too long. I sent an email to CNN, having rung them up and so on, saying, well, that they were not interviewing the Israeli Jews who were opposed to the war and who just had a big demonstration in Tel Aviv, and suggested that I could give some numbers if I was given a specific name, and of course if I cleared it first with the people concerned. And I got back, well, you know, it's a really very polite reply, but the reply I got was basically hinged on, yes, but 80% of the Israelis are for this war. Well, it might be 80% or it might be 90%, but what is the world question? Are we to have a democratic world? Are we to have a democratic city in our own countries? Or in Palestine? Or Israel? They're big questions, and it's the world powers, not only America. Wonderful people criticize their own countries. I don't say I'm wonderful, but I certainly criticize my government. And you are voicing clear, definite demands on the outgoing and the incoming administration. But it is world powers. Russia has an interest, the Kremlin, I don't mean Russian people, the Kremlin has an interest here to keep things going. The European Union has an interest to keep horror and conflict going. And I'm not saying give up hope, because the life is full of extraordinary, brave, courageous people who we don't hear about, and that's what I've learned throughout my life. We don't hear about how many brave people there are who try to undo the longing for a violent return, who try to undo the desperate deaths and wounds caused by letting loose the dogs of war. Well, I'm so sorry, everyone.